Business Online. Thank you, sir. Okay, I'll start again. Okay, welcome everyone to Building a Business Online. My name is Natalie. I'll go ahead and get into introductions in a second, but just to give you a top line overview, what we're going to be talking about today is basically just a roadmap to going ahead and starting your online business. This is a webinar. It's about an hour and a half, so there's only so much information that I can cover during this time. So I'm going to try to keep it top level with as many tidbits as I can fit in there. But just know that in the 5 class series, we'll go ahead and go more in depth. But with that being said, welcome to the webinar. A little bit about me. My name is Natalie. I have about 6 years of experience now within the field of digital marketing. I've gone ahead and worked on the corporate side. Now I go ahead and work with small business owners. When I was working corporate, I worked with clients like Dove, Dr. Scholl's, Degree, Seventh Generation, Lipton Tea Tazo team, mostly within consumer packaged goods. And now I go ahead and work with small business owners like yourself, helping to build their digital presence online and their brand. So today's agenda, we're going to go ahead and cover over a high-level roadmap of starting a business. And why all this matters is I'm sure all of you know, if you've gone ahead and you're joining today, that the online industry is booming. It's pretty much where business is going ahead and shifting towards. While there still is, of course, the need for local in-person businesses, you can really go ahead and just gain so much more audience, so much more outside revenue leveraging online platforms. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how to go ahead and get started and do that successfully. So first, kind of, an obvious question, but what is an online business and why you should start one? So an online business primarily operates on the internet, offering products and services through digital platforms. So here are some examples of some online business models. You have e-commerce stores, which are selling physical products directly to consumers. Whether that be, clothes or beauty supplies or, like a certain product that you've gone ahead and built yourself, tools, really whatever the sort, just anything physical. And then you have an affiliate influencer marketing where you're basically going ahead and promoting other people's products, earning a commission on those sales, whether that be a portion of the sales or through a contract with a company, like through a sponsorship. Then you have freelance services, where you're providing services such as writing, graphic design, or consulting to either businesses or individuals. Then you have digital products. Those are downloadable items like ebooks, software, online courses, which have gotten really popular in recent years, especially because the margins there are there's so much room for profit there because the upfront cost and having to do something like that is very, very low. And then also drop shipping, which is basically selling products without holding inventory. So similar to an e-commerce store, except you're not going and holding the inventory yourself. You're just shipping it directly to customers, which I know got a lot of traction during the pandemic. So those are just some examples. In terms of online business versus a brick and mortar store, some advantages versus disadvantages. Some advantages being the fact that you have low startup cost, you eliminate the need for physical storefronts, reducing overhead expenses, which is huge now, especially as real estate prices have been going ahead and increasing up the wazoo. I know a lot of local businesses go ahead and have a hard time going ahead and maintaining their storefront just because the rent is so high, especially after leases are up and they have to renew. There's a lot of flexibility with online stores. You can operate basically anywhere with internet access, allowing for better work-life balance, which can be debatable, but over time as you scale, yes. Again, scalability. You can expand your business's reach to a global audience without the high cost. And then 24/7 availability. So your online store always remains open. It's not like you have certain business hours where your online store is just not accessible to people. So you can go ahead and cater to customers in different time zones, especially if you set up your online automations right. So you can kind of just let it run in the background and you can respond as you need it when you go ahead and get to it. Then on the other side, you have disadvantages. You have high competition. Right now, the online space is definitely getting more saturated. A lot of people are going ahead and waking up to the fact that the online space is really where the future's at, and a lot of people are going ahead and rampaging in there. So standing out requires a lot of strong branding, marketing strategies, and differentiation. Um, then there's also the lack of face-to-face customer interactions, which can make things a little less personable, and can go ahead and not necessarily foster that same amount of trust between you and your customers. So you can kind of miss out on the relationship building. Then there's also the dependence on digital marketing and visibility. So nowadays, websites alone won't guarantee traffic, unfortunately. As a business, as an online business, you need so much more to go ahead and to stand out. You need SEO, paid ads, social media, and contact marketing to go ahead and to get noticed. So today, basically, like in this presentation, we're going to be going ahead and trying to address these disadvantages and basically give you workable solutions to go ahead and to overcome some of these disadvantages or challenges that you might go ahead and face. Especially this last point about the dependence on digital marketing and visibility. That's really my forte and where my background goes ahead and comes from. But it's really going to be your bread and butter when you're trying to go ahead and make your online business successful. So that's what we'll be covering today. Okay, so here's the 6-step roadmap to success with your online business. Step 1 being understanding your online ecosystem. Step 2, building your sales funnel. Step 3, setting up your website and social media. Step 4, you have email marketing and customer engagement. Step 5, paid advertising and public relations. And then step 6, you have making sales and scaling. So 6 steps. We're going to try to cover over as many as we can. Again, knowing the lack of time, we're probably not going to be able to go ahead and touch too much on the paid advertising and public relations because that can be its whole other segment, but we're going to try to cover as much as I can. Okay, so step 1, understanding your online ecosystem. So what I mean by online ecosystem is to basically just interconnected network of your digital platforms. This includes your website, your social media channels, your email marketing, your online advertising, and customer interactions. So basically just all of the different touch points that someone might go ahead and come upon when they go ahead and look for your business online. So these are some of the top digital platforms for businesses, especially for small businesses that you might look to leverage. Again, you have your website, which serves as your digital storefront, providing information about your offerings, your facilitating transactions. This is going to be your main hub, kind of the center point of your digital kind of like ecosystem, where it's going to house all of your, brand's information, where people can go ahead and make purchases. So it's really going to be very important in all this. And then you have social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok to help you engage with your audience and promote your brand. Customer relationship management, or CRM, which is becoming increasingly important it's going to be increasingly important over the next few years. It already is, especially as stuff like cookies are going ahead and going away. So it's going to be harder to track individuals and to target individuals without having first-party data. I know that sounded kind of like a mouthful, but basically it just means that you're no longer going to be able to target individuals as well as you were before, because things like data privacy, which are very important, is becoming a more concerning issue in the recent years. So they've been going on and doing away with stuff like being able to track people's information across websites. So being able to go ahead and own customer information, whether it be like, having customers sign up for your email newsletter, providing their email address, their phone number, their name, and their information is going to be super increasingly important. And customer service management is a part of that process of managing those customers and reaching out to them, both current and potential customers. But we'll get into that as we get into the email marketing section. Then you have email marketing, which allows for direct communication with potential and existing customers, promoting products and nurturing relationships. And then you have online advertising and public relations. So that includes paid and earned promotions. On the paid side, you have stuff like Google Ads, social media ads, and then on the earned side, you have earned media. And by earned media, I mean, someone writing about, your products, your services. It could be, a local newspaper publication. It could be, someone listening on the blog post, or like an influencer talking about it. So those are all earned media. You have earned media that's organic and then earned media that's also paid. Paid by paid, I mean, you pay influencers versus like organic is, someone just happens to stumble across, your services and talks about it. So these are kind of the top platform/activities for most businesses that you'll be interacting with. Okay, and this is kind of a this is a roadmap of connections and relationships. You can see that there's a lot of different arrows coming to and fro each one of the touch points because they all interact together. Going from the website being the hub, going ahead and getting connected to advertising and PR. Advertising and PR can feed directly into the website. Someone will click on your ad, and then they'll go ahead and get to your website. Someone could go ahead and find you on social media and they can go ahead and then go to your website. And then from your website, you can go ahead and, have a little pop-up that goes ahead and has them sign up for your email. So then they go ahead and go through your email, and then they end up going ahead and making a purchase because you recommend something instead of your email. So there's a very big kind of just web of relationships, but all of those pieces matter and they all ladder up to going ahead and having your customer make the final purchase. So I hope that all goes ahead and makes sense. Let me actually keep the chat window up just to make sure that I'm not missing any questions as we go along. Okay, cool. All right, awesome. Actually, any questions so far, if anybody has any. Okay, hi, Starla. Nice to see you. Okay, awesome. All right, so no questions. I'll continue on. Okay, so then step two is building out your business sales funnel. So a sales funnel basically is just the potential journey that your customers take from going ahead and becoming first aware about your brand to making a purchase and beyond being, coming back and making a second purchase or referring to your friends or family, having that retention, whatever that might look like. Um, so in terms of the sales funnel, this is kind of a snapshot of what a typical sales funnel will look like. So at the top of the funnel, it goes from the top to the bottom. It works basically just like a regular funnel where you start at the top and then, fluid goes ahead and comes in and goes all the way down. So you want to make sure that the customer is going through the funnel all the way to the bottom, which is ultimately the purchase. So at the top of the funnel, you have awareness. This is where potential customers go ahead and first discover your business. The goal here is to go ahead and maximize visibility and reach. So that we're just aware of your brand. They can go ahead and be like, okay, this person is selling something. So that way you can go ahead and then bring them down to the next phase, which would be the interest. So that's when you go ahead and basically prospects go ahead and explore what you have to offer. You build trust, provide by providing value and information and nurturing relationships. So that's kind of like a stage where you're kind of like flirting with the idea of maybe going ahead and purchasing, you're kind of just like feeling it out. They're going ahead and seeing, okay, what do they offer? What do other people have to say about it? What's going on here? Then they move on to the next phase, which is the decision phase, which is where they go ahead and weigh out their options. They decide, okay, like, do I actually want to go ahead and make this purchase? There's something better out there. Is there something, is there a reason why I shouldn't go ahead and buy this? Is there a reason why I maybe should go somewhere else? So this is the stage where like social proof, testimonials, and incentives will help push them towards a direction. And then almost finally, you have the action, which is when the prospects take like the final step in the process, which is going ahead and buying, booking, or signing up. Here, a seamless experience is key, and I'll kind of touch upon that once we get to the sales section, but you basically want to make this as easy as possible for them to go ahead and to make the sale. You don't want to have any bottlenecks. You want to go ahead and make sure that it's very easy for them to go ahead and actually make that purchase, whether that be through, really clear call to actions like buy now, buy here, making sure the buttons are very, prominent, very easy to access, that you have a nice payment portal. People can go ahead and enter in their card information, that you accept different forms of payment, and you just, again, make the process as easy as possible. And then the very last step is the retention area. So that's basically keeping customers engaged and keep coming back and referring to people and referring other people to your business by providing ongoing value, support, and exclusive perks. So that's a typical kind of sales funnel. And then here are some activities that will flow along the sales funnel. So how you can go ahead and get people to get to that stage and to flow them down to the next stage. So you'll see there's a lot of different activities that can go ahead and go into each one. There are some overlapping platforms, but each one of them has their segments within each one. So at the top of the funnel, when people first are aware of your brand and they can either find you, maybe do your website, maybe they go ahead and look up on Google, career consulting services near me, and they find you on Google. So they go ahead and go onto your website. They might find you through social media, through paid ads that you put out there, through PR, networking. There's a ton of ways where people can just find you. Then once you go ahead and get down to the interest section, it gets a little bit more granular. So the interest you have on your website, you can go ahead and include something like FAQs, so frequently asked questions, case studies. So those are basically just, again, social proof to go ahead and be like, hey, like this is what we're about. This is what we go ahead and do. Here's some evidence behind, my services or my product. Basically just providing more information to go ahead and encourage customers to go ahead and ultimately make that purchase. Then you have social media. Social media, the role here would be like educational content, again, going ahead and supplying people with more information to go ahead and to pique their interest about whatever you have going on. Same thing with email, again, more information, going ahead and trying to lead them down the path with stuff like welcome series, with nurturing lead magnets, which we'll cover more in the email section, and CRM, which again, we'll cover in the email section. So you guys can take a screenshot of this if you will, if you would like to. I know there's a lot of activities on here, but it's a really good kind of guide to go ahead and pick apart kind of what activities or what things do you want to do to go ahead and get people down the sales funnel. So you can really kind of just mix and match, add different versions of this, and you can kind of build out your own sales funnel that way. Okay. Okay, so step 3 would be setting up your business website. So this is the first introduction to your business. It's a vital opportunity for you to go ahead and create a positive first impression about your brand. So it's really just that first kind of just initial, step in the process. So you want to go ahead and first, of course, choose the right website platform. Depending on what your business goes ahead and does is really going to go ahead and make a difference in what platform you choose. And a lot of people go ahead and are like, should I choose Wix? Should I choose WordPress? Again, it's mostly based on whether you're a service-based business or a product-based business. If you're a product-based business, for the most part, especially if you keep a large inventory, I usually always recommend Shopify. They have amazing inventory and stocking options and going and choosing colors and shipping. So if you're e-commerce specifically and you keep a large inventory, love Shopify. If you have a little bit less inventory, you can go ahead and use something like a Wix, especially because the interface is very, very nice and easy to use. Versus if you were to do like a service-based business, I love Squarespace for service-based businesses because they have a lot of nice invoicing integrations and calendar schedule integrations. So if that's something that you're going ahead and looking to do, some more service-based, I would recommend going ahead and going in that route. WordPress, I know, is a very it's a very pushed for platform, and I really like WordPress, especially if you're going ahead and having someone else do it for you. However, it can be very cumbersome sometimes to go and have to build out yourself, especially be the fact that you're a small business owner and you have so many other things that you have to go ahead and worry about, that having to do something like a WordPress where you have to go ahead and do a lot of the plugins and DIYing yourself, I just feel like the juice is not necessarily worth the squeeze. So I usually go ahead and recommend Squarespace, Wix, or Shopify kind of being the perfect trifecta, depending on what type of business you have. Then you also want to go ahead and make sure that you're optimizing your website for whatever sales that you're looking to go ahead and get, and whatever your business is, because the ultimate goal is to go ahead and have the customers, make the sales. So you want to go ahead and again make that as easy as possible. So you want to choose the right tools and integrations to go ahead and to facilitate that, whether that be a checkout, which would be for more product-based e-commerce companies, where again, you want to make sure that checkout page is seamless. You want to make sure that you're including multiple different ways for people to pay. I recommend going ahead and doing PayPal, direct card integrations. You can even include Venmo, Apple Pay, basically as many payment options as you can go ahead and link up if possible within reason. Versus if you're service-based, you have a few different ones to go ahead and to consider. What's the face? So for let's say if you're going ahead and doing more consulting based work, you can go ahead and have something like a calendar booking, which makes it really easy and simple for people to go ahead and to book an initial consultation with you so they can fill you out, get a sense of your services, and you can go ahead and provide that either for a charge or for free, depending on how your business operates and works. It's going to be really nice to have that as opposed to going ahead and having, someone just consistently calling you or emailing you like, hey, listen, I want to go ahead and, schedule something. Like it's just a lot more seamless to have something like a calendar booking integration. You can set up, blocks of time that you want to go ahead and have. You can go ahead and block off certain days. So that way everything, again, is seamless. People can access it whenever they need to. If they come to your page, it's not like, oh, it's like, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. I feel bad calling her like at this hour. Like they can just go to your website and schedule. It's great. And then also invoices too. You want to go ahead and make sure you're getting paid. So for anything service-based, I definitely recommend having an invoice integration into your website and also making sure that you have a contract. Definitely having a contract is very, very important for anything service-based. Even if you're doing something minor and you're like, oh, it's not like have a contract, especially if you're doing invoicing. Okay. I'm going to keep going if nobody has any questions. Like I said, if you have any questions, again, you can pop it in the chat. And we can always go ahead and, of course, talk afterwards too. So moving along to optimizing your business website for SEO. So SEO is one of those kind of topics that a lot of business owners get a lot of anxiety around because it can be really technical. Even the word SEO is kind of like a little bit scary. It's like, what does it mean? So basically, SEO just means search engine optimization. So it just ensures that your website ranks high on search engines. So like when you look up keywords that are related to your business, let's say if you're going ahead and having like a dog, let's say like a pet treat company, like if you look up, like organic pet treats, near me or organic pet treats, for dogs with celiac. I don't know if dogs have celiac, but I mean, you would go ahead and come up high up in the search results. It's helping you basically go ahead and be one of the top results on the search page. So by going ahead and using SEO strategies, you would go ahead and have a better chance of ranking higher on search pages. So to do this, here are some strategies. So one, doing keyword research and optimizing your content. So using tools like Google Keyword Planner, Google Trends, to go ahead and find relevant keywords. There's other paid services that you can go ahead and use too, but I find Google is honestly, it's free. It's one of the better ones to use. And you just want to basically create a whole list of keywords that are related to your business and ones that go ahead and are both high ranking, but also have a high volume. And what I mean by that is you could have a search word that's like a high rank, like the search word, like pet treats. It could have a really high rank, but it could also have a very high volume. And the issue with high volume keywords is the fact that there's a lot of people bidding for those keywords. So those keywords are going to be very expensive to go ahead and to show up for. And it's going to be kind of sometimes impossible to go ahead and to rank high because there's so much competition out there. So while it's not a bad thing to go ahead and have high volume search words, it definitely goes ahead and tends to, again, have a lot of competition. So having a mix of high volume and high like trending keywords and low volume and low trending keyword. It's a good, you want to make sure you have a mix so that you're going ahead and giving yourself the best chance to show up in search results. So yes, that's the rankings. Then you also want to go ahead and naturally incorporate those keywords into your website pages, blog posts, and headings. Basically, anywhere that you can put keywords, just put your keywords. When you go ahead and, especially during the headers are one of the places that Google goes ahead and uses the most. Like they have in the Google algorithm, they basically put certain weight on certain items on a web page to go ahead and to be like, okay, like, this item, like headings have a higher weight as opposed to body text. So when you're going ahead and using keywords inside of a header, it has more impact than using keywords in like a body paragraph. Not to say that they both don't matter, but for stuff like, headers, you definitely want to make sure you have keywords in there, basically all throughout your page. And blogs are a really good way to go ahead and insert keywords into your site to help your SEO. Just going ahead and doing blog posts about basically anything that has to do with your industry, things that people would want to go ahead and read. It doesn't necessarily have to go ahead and be like the best thing you've ever written. You don't have to spend like, all this time going ahead and doing it. You can honestly use a lot of AI to go ahead and to help you out a little bit. I definitely don't necessarily say like copy and paste directly. You want to go ahead and make sure that you're, tweaking it a bit and making sure that it sounds good and it has like a little bit of human tone to it, just in case if someone does read it. But it's more so for the SEO than it actually is for people to go ahead and truly go ahead and read. Not to say that, people won't be reading it. People probably, there will be some people who do read it, especially if they're good blogs. But it's really good for SEO specifically. So you can just use it as a tactic for that. And then you also want to go ahead and create high quality, useful content that answers customers' questions. That kind of goes hand in hand with the blog post, but that also goes ahead and goes hand in hand with FAQ pages or FAQ sections, which I love having on websites. It's good because if people go ahead and look up certain questions about a topic or about something that's related to your services or your product, it's more than likely going to go ahead and get picked up by, especially nowadays, and then you have Google has their Gemini that they go ahead and crawl web pages for answers to specific questions, and they'll link basically the source of that page. So if you're answering a question that someone's putting into their search results, there's more likely of a chance that you're going to go ahead and appear in the little AI Gemini box, and you'll be a direct source, and people can go ahead and go to your page and be like, oh, wow, she knows what she's talking about, or he or she, they know what they're talking about. So those are the keywords. Then optimizing for mobile and for speed. This is one area where I find that some people can go ahead and it's one of those things where it's an overlooked thing, especially when it comes to the speed. Optimizing for mobile is a lot easier nowadays because most website builders will go ahead and give you the option to have a mobile view. Always tab onto the mobile view whenever you're building a website. You'll have a desktop view, which is how it looks like from your computer, and you have the mobile view. You want to make sure the mobile view is looking nice and clean and precise because nowadays like about probably close to like 70 to 80% of people view most websites on their phone. Very few people nowadays, I mean, granted, it also depends on the age demographic that you're targeting. But especially if you're targeting younger demographic, it's going to be very likely they're going to be viewing it on mobile. So make sure that that looks good. And then in terms of website speed, that's basically just how quickly your page loads. So if your page takes a long time to go ahead and to load, people are more likely to go ahead and leave the page just because they're like, oh, I don't want to wait for this page to load. So to go and prevent that from happening, you want to go ahead and improve your load speed by going ahead and doing stuff like optimizing your images by compressing them. So that's a really simple kind of easy trick that you can go ahead and do. You take, let's say if you're going ahead and putting like, your website banner and product images and stuff like that, you always want to compress them. You can just look up, image compressor. There's like a ton of them on Google that are free. You can go ahead and just upload them onto there and they will compress it. The compressing it will go ahead and decrease the quality just a little bit. You can usually adjust how much you want to compress it without having to sacrifice too much of the quality. For the most part, you really can't tell, especially if you're compressing it like, 70%, not 70%, like 50%, 60% is usually not too big of a deal. And it'll go ahead and really help with your website load speed. And then removing also website bloat also helps too. By bloat, I mean if you have like unnecessary apps on your page, again with the images, going ahead and compressing those, making sure that you don't have just like dead web pages that are like just blank, kind of just like hanging out in the page in the background, just making sure everything is nice and concise together. And then just making sure that you're using a clean and easy to navigate design for better user experience. So nothing too clunky, not too many like, not too many sections, not too much.
This morning when I
You choose to. Okay, cool. And then last but not least, especially if you're a business owner who happens to have, you want to have an online presence, but you also have, whether you do local business, if you're a service-based business, or if you have a brick and mortar store, making sure that your local SEO is nailed and tight. Even if you're not, even if you're just based in this location, but you're online, it's always good to have the local SEO because it's just an easy way to go ahead and grab individuals. Because when you think about it on, in the global scale, people who are looking up, specifically like, again, career consulting, Brentwood, New York, is going to be a lot smaller volume of people searching for that, as opposed to just general, just like career consulting, in general. So you're going to go ahead and get a smaller volume of people who are going ahead and looking for it, but they're going to be a lot more, you're going to go ahead and rank a lot more higher because there's going to be less competition. Um, One thing that you can all go ahead and do, and you can even go ahead and do this tonight really quick, is you can go ahead and claim and optimize your Google business profile. It's a really easy win. It's completely free to go ahead and do. You just go ahead and look up, Google business profile and you go ahead and register it. And that way people look up your business. You'll go ahead and get your own little like box with the square and people can leave reviews and you can put your business hours and all that fun stuff. So it's just an easy SEO kind of win off the bat. Um, then you can also go ahead and get yourself listed in local directories like Yelp, Bing Places, TripAdvisor, anything that's relevant to your industry. Just a bunch of local directories. You want to make as many pages as you can. Again, it just helps you to go ahead and rank higher on search engines. And then any customers who do go ahead and leave you reviews on these directories or your good business profile, you always want to try to respond to them. Unless they're like really toxic and negative, you can ignore those and report those to Google or whatever local directory that you're using. Yelp is the worst though, even though like it's a necessary evil. But just try to respond to all of, especially the positive ones. Um, and then last but not least is one of the hardest things to go ahead and to do is earning backlinks. So backlinks are basically when other people who aren't you go ahead and link to your business website, to your social media page, or to any of your earned kind of any of your digital platforms. So basically, it's like people who are in the industry, people who go ahead and run blogs, influencers of the sort, basically linking back to your webpage. And to go ahead and to get those, you need to go ahead and make sure that you have like relationships with them or they tried your product. So it's a lot about building relationships to go ahead and to get those backlinks. You can also go ahead and go the route of paying somebody to go ahead and to do backlinks for you. Um, Results may vary depending on who you go ahead and hire to do that. I know there's a lot of like Upwork freelancers who go ahead and do that. You just want to be careful because sometimes, depending on where the person's located, they might go ahead and give you some kind of like shoddy links where they might be like, links they'll go ahead and link over to like Russia or like, and like the Ukraine or something like that, where it's completely irrelevant to your business. And you're going to have a bunch of people who are like in a completely different country on the other side of the world who are coming to your page. And you're like, why am I only getting people from Russia coming to my website? And that's usually why. Um, so yeah, a lot to take in here. So again, if anybody has any questions, feel free to pop it in the chat. But on that note, I'm going to move on because we've been talking about SEO for a little while. Okay. Then for your website, also making sure that you have a strong CTA. CTA meaning a call to action. So that's basically the ultimate action that you want your customers to go ahead and to take on your website, whether that is to go ahead and to buy now, to book a consultation with me, to get started, to sign up, to RSVP for an event. So it's that ultimate desire that you want them to go ahead and to take. So you want to make sure that that action is very clear and upfront for people to go ahead and to know. So you want to make it use strong, direct language, like get started, book a call free, shop now, and avoid like vague language like learn more or, find out how and stuff like that. You just want to make it clear and straight to the point. Then you want to go ahead and make sure you're also designing for visibility. So using contrasting colors, make the CTA stand out from the background. You don't want it to get lost on your website so people don't know where to go next when they go ahead and go to your web page. And then you want to ensure the button is large enough and it's easily clickable. And then place it strategically. So I've seen some pages before in the past where like the CTA will be all the way at the bottom of the page. So you have to scroll all the way down to go ahead and to be like, oh, finally, I know what to do now. Not a lot of people are going to want to go ahead and do that. When they go ahead and go to your website page, I forgot what the exact statistic is. I think people usually spend like about, I think maybe like 3 to 5 seconds on average on a website when they first go ahead and go there. So if they don't necessarily see the CTA as soon as they go ahead and land on a page, a lot of times they go ahead and bounce off because it's like, okay, I'm here. What do I do now? So you want to make sure that that call to action is upfront, it's clear, and you can easily find it. And you just want to make going ahead and making that action as easy as you can. Just seamless. So yeah, so that's the CTA. Okay, any questions before I move on to social media from websites? Again, you can just drop it in the chat. If not, then I will move on. Okay, awesome. So now I'm moving on to social media. So again, another first introduction to your business. You want to go ahead and make sure that you're making a really positive first impression for your brand. So choosing a social media platform is really going to go ahead and depend on who exactly your audience is. This is an area where you really want to go ahead and try to kind of figure out where they're at and making sure that you're going ahead and showing up where they're going to be. So something like a Facebook is going to be different from Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube. For Facebook, I tend to find most people go ahead and go there on a personal level for family, for friends, community events, news and entertainment. Um, as opposed to something like Instagram, where you're going to have fashion, beauty, fitness, food, lifestyle, entertainment. And all these are going to have different demographics too that you're going to go ahead and have. So, like Facebook is going to skew a little bit older, as opposed to TikTok that's going to skew a little bit younger. So, you really want to make sure that you're going and honing in on who your audience is to go ahead and to then show up where they're at. So these are just some things to keep in mind. These are just the top 5 social media platforms. There's other ones too, like Pinterest, or X, formerly known as Twitter, which it's not necessarily the place you want to be right now. And that's a good, but everyone has their own kind of demographics that they're looking for. So if you happen to go ahead and be in the space where you're looking to go ahead and be in the tech space, X might be a place that you want to go ahead and be. So these are just things to go ahead and to consider and to look at when you're choosing a social media platform. Then in terms of the content that you're going to be posting on here, these are some key pillars of the types of content that you could look to go ahead and post that are most common on most social platforms. So you have entertainment. Entertainment includes memes, funny videos, relatable stories and scenarios. So these are really going to be this is going to be your bread and butter when it comes to social media, especially because people a lot of times come to social media to go ahead and escape, to have a little bit of fun. So you really want to go ahead and leverage something like entertainment inside of your post if you can. It's just relatable. A lot of times nowadays, especially, brands are more comfortable now with going ahead and having a personality behind them. It's less about going ahead and being just a professional and buttoned up and more about going ahead and truly connecting with your audience. So going ahead and having something like, relatable content, whether it's something that has to do with like, common issues that your target demographic might face. Making that into like a little fun skit. Or going ahead and having a meme that you go ahead and do, that happens to go ahead and relate back to your product. You always want to try to make sure that the content that you're posting does relate back to your business or / to your product. You don't want it to be completely irrelevant, but you do want it to go ahead and to resonate with your audience. The second type of content that you can go and look to leverage would be educational content. So these are tips, infographics, tutorials, guides, and articles. Basically anything that's going to inform your audience and go ahead and provide them with some value. Again, it's all on the same pillars of entertainment, where it's going to be really nice to go ahead and have a good chunk of your content kind of fall into these 2 categories. Because a lot of times, again, people tend to go ahead and go for either entertainment or value, but they kind of go hand in hand together. Then you also have engaging content. So this is content that people go ahead and basically will actively usually go ahead and like whether comment or interact with. So that includes quizzes, polls, Q&As, and live chats. Anything that can go ahead and get a conversation going. This is really good for driving insights for your business, which is also kind of like a nice little bonus. You can go ahead and get kind of basically like insights about what your customers might enjoy or might like. You can go ahead and do the example over here is, would you rather have puffy tops or crop tops? So as a fashion retailer, you can kind of go ahead and gauge your audience's kind of like preferences and what you can maybe look to go ahead and include in like maybe your next upcoming product drop. And it's a good way to go ahead and include your audience in the process so that way they feel like they're a part of your brand. It goes ahead and creates connections with them, makes them feel like they're part of the process. So it's relationship building, it's insight gathering. So I love engagement, engaging content. It's great. And then you also have promotional content. This is the kind of pillar of content that you do want to go ahead and include inside your mix when you're posting on social, but you do want to go ahead and just be careful not to go ahead and include this too much. I've seen a lot of business owners in the past going ahead and just basically posting promotional content after promotional content. Just their entire page is promotional content. And it can get really tiring as someone who goes ahead and follows a page like that to just have to be like, buy now, buy now, buy now. No one wants to go ahead and follow a page where you're just constantly going ahead and getting sold to. So you do want to have this, of course, in there because at the end of the day, you are a business and you are looking to sell things. But at the same time, again, it can just get a little fatiguing to have to hear it over and over again. And there's ways that you can do promotional content that also goes ahead and is kind of like they call it a soft sell. So you can go ahead and have entertaining, content like, a funny, relatable video, or different scenarios or stories where you incorporate your product in there, kind of like in Hollywood, they have like product placements, but you can do that on a smaller scale and having product placements and doing like a soft sell. You can also do stuff like, new releases, where you go ahead and, hype up a new product that you might have, and also giveaways. Giveaways are a very, very good way to go and have promotions, but also to go ahead and to get new followers and more engagement and to go ahead and to introduce new people into the fold. Because what you can go ahead and do is do something like, let's say if you have a giveaway and the rules of the giveaway, you have to go ahead and refer 5 people to your page, or you have to go ahead and share, this post with 5 different people. But you can go ahead and you can leverage that to then go ahead and get more people into the fold and they can refer to other people. So it's a good way to kind of just quickly get a larger audience for social. And then last but not least, is personal content. So this is more, especially for TikTok, this is great for TikTok. So behind the scenes stuff, meet the team, come with us to, to go ahead and to stock our shelves, come with us to, talk with one of our vendors, come with us to our warehouse. It's really that kind of, again, that personal behind the scenes, just really casual, type of content, especially, again, very good for Gen Zers who want to go ahead and feel that personal connection with your brand. So you can see the example here. You have, girl in just in a ponytail, a tank top, just like completely just looks like she rolled out of bed, like personal. Like don't feel, of course, when you want to keep a brand safe, we don't want anything, that could go ahead and potentially come back to bite you in the butt, later on. But like, again, just making it feel like, they're talking to a friend. So yeah, so those are kind of the main pillars of content. There's of course other content out there that you can go ahead and try, other categories, but these are the kind of top 5. Yeah, with that being said, I'll move on to email marketing now, and customer engagement. So email marketing is a nice, a special point for me. I've been really going ahead and getting into it recently. It's a really great way to go ahead and to send personalized messages directly to your audience to build connection and trust. And it's one of the most cost-effective channels when it comes to marketing. And it's very underutilized for a lot of brands. It has a higher ROI compared to other marketing strategies like social media, especially Google. Google can sometimes be a very big money suck when it comes to things, but email marketing is a very inexpensive way to go ahead and really go ahead and drive that conversion when it comes to your customers. So building an email business list to go ahead and to capture those people into your email list so that way you can then market to them. So first, you can go ahead and do this a couple ways. You can create a lead magnet, and a lead magnet is basically something where you can go ahead and offer value in exchange for going ahead and having a customer go ahead and provide their information. So a lead magnet can look like a bunch of different things. It can look like an Excel sheet that goes ahead and provides, like a calculator of sorts, where let's say if, you're a financial advisor, you can go ahead and do like, a how much house can you afford calculator. Where people can go ahead and go in, they can go ahead and download the Excel sheet, they can play around with it. And by going ahead and they get the Excel sheet, and in exchange, you get their email, their name, sometimes their phone number. It depends on what you go ahead and ask for. Usually standard is, first name, last name, email, and then again, potentially optionally phone number. You can do something like a free guide. You can do something like a coupon discount code. It's an item that goes ahead and entices people to want to go ahead and then provide their information to you. So that way you can then go ahead and capture it, and then you can have them on your email list so that way you can go ahead and send out promotions to them at a later time. To go ahead and then to actually capture that information, you have the sign up forms. So sign up forms, you can have them on your website. You can go ahead and have them, on a landing page that you take them from your social media page, where people will then go ahead and provide, again, their name. You can ask their date of birth, phone number, email, anything of the sorts that you want to collect for their information, anything that they're willing to provide at least. Um, I've seen some people get really creative with their sign up forms. I've seen people go ahead and, ask, specific questions that relate to their business or their brand or the campaign that they're running. So I know I had recently gone ahead and joined this there's this channel called The Financial Diet. Any ladies are looking for, financial advice that's specifically catered to women, definitely recommend The Financial Diet. But they went ahead and had this webinar that they went ahead and hosted. And as a part of the webinar, they had split it up into a few different groups. So you have people who are just like in the beginning of their financial journey, who are, just starting off and trying to figure out what to go ahead and to do. And then you have people who are a little bit like deeper in their financial journey, who are, might be investing, might be going ahead and saving, but need like a little bit more of like a step up. To go ahead and to get access to those webinars, you have to take a quiz. So in the quiz, you go ahead and answer these questions, and then they go ahead and split you into the groups of the different webinars based on what you answered. And by going and taking the quiz, not only are you going ahead and then getting personalized, webinar that's catered more towards your level, but they also went ahead and collected the information about you and about where you were at financially. So that way, later on in the future, they can again go ahead and provide you emails that are more catered to what you're looking for specifically. So you can get really creative when it comes to capture forms and lead magnets. Really the sky's the limit when it comes to that. Then you can also go and encourage signups on social media. So that's kind of what I was referring to with the landing pages. So you can have a little link on your social media page that goes ahead and drives to, whether it be, like a link tree. And then for those who don't know, Linktree is basically a website where it combines together all of your links into one place. So you can have your website, let's say a blog post, an article mention about your business all on one page. So you can have the sign up on there. You can have it directly on your Facebook page. You can see in this example, they go ahead and have it directly on top of their Facebook page, and as opposed to like a contact us. Instead, for them, it's sign up for their email list. So you just want to try to place it in as many spots as you can. If you do go ahead and have an in-person brick and mortar, or let's say if you have flyers or in-person material like a business card, you can also include it on there as well via QR code. And the only caveat for when you're going ahead and building out an email list is the fact that you want to make sure that you stay compliant. So you always want to make sure that you're going ahead and letting people opt into your email list, which usually includes like a little check mark to be like, I want to go ahead and sign up for your emails, whatever it's be marketing. And you can make the message, you can kind of tailor it a little bit, but you just want to make sure that the person opts in. Because if they don't go ahead and opt in, a lot of times that your email can go ahead and end up in the spam box, which is not where we want to be, because then no one can go ahead and get your emails. And the more times that you show up and send someone's spam box, the more times that basically other people are also going to go ahead and get it directed to their spam box, because there's an overall kind of similar to the Google algorithm. There's also an algorithm when it comes to emails where if a certain percentage of your email gets marked as spam, then the email algorithm is going to go ahead and know like, okay, this is not a trustworthy sender. So they're less likely to go ahead and send out your email to other people as well. So it becomes kind of a cycle. So you just want to make sure that you're doing best practices and making sure that you're going ahead and providing that little check mark. Okay, awesome. And then creating engaging email campaigns. So when you actually send out the emails that you go ahead and captured, from the list, you want to make sure those emails are, nice and put together. Again, for the most part, all of these that I'm going and covering over today, again, these are high levels information. During the 5-part course series, I'm going to make sure to go ahead and touch on each one of these just in depth and to go ahead and go over exactly how to go ahead and create an engaging email. You can go ahead and work on it in class, go ahead and do a live demonstration on how to do it. But this is, again, very high level, kind of just like very top level, just tips, techniques. So just to go ahead and to caveat that. So when creating an engaging email campaign, you want to make sure that you're writing a compelling subject line. You want to keep the subject line short, clear and curiosity driven. So going ahead and creating some kind of air of mystery to it. So going ahead and, exclusive offer inside, don't miss out, anything along the lines of kind of just like, again, creating that kind of just like, ooh, factor. You want to go ahead and personalize and segment your list. So when you're going ahead and collecting in the information, over time, you want to go ahead and kind of how I mentioned before about, having, questions or segments, questions about, your audience and what they're going ahead and doing and what their preferences are. You can collect information like that. You can also go ahead and segment them by what they've gone ahead and purchased before you in the past. If it was a specific item, have they purchased from you multiple times? Going ahead and collecting that information, then using it to go ahead and to target them in different ways and having different emails going ahead and getting sent out to different people based on how they've interacted or what segments they follow into. And then just making sure you're keeping it concise and valuable. So ensuring that emails provide valuable information, addressing customers' needs and interests, providing useful content, special offers, and updates without overwhelming your readers. So being the fact that they've invited you into their email box, you just want to make sure that you're being respectful of the fact that they've invited you there. You don't want to go ahead and, just spam them with just, information that's not going to be relevant to them or not useful to them. You can always go ahead and, of course, present your offer, but again, you want to make sure that offer is actually something that would be of value to them. And that can go ahead and include, providing them tips or just little side segments on top of going and having, again, your sell with the product. Okay, so that's email list. Then I'm going to go ahead and cover over the final step in the process, which is actually making the sale and then also scaling your business. So when going ahead and trying to go ahead and convert leads into customers, this is kind of the final step in the funnel like we talked about earlier. So going ahead and going for all the way from awareness down to that conversion, that action, and that retention. So email kind of like scales on the scale of like, in the interest, decision kind of section. And now we're at the action, which is the converting the actual leads into customers. So we had touched on the clear call to action to guide prospects towards a desired action and concise and compelling CTA. We touched upon that a little bit earlier, but then there's also the aspect of social proof, making sure you have the reviews, the case studies to build the credibility and the trust, and then also the personalized follow-ups. So engaging with leads with tailored messaging, addressing their specific needs. It kind of all wraps everything up together, going ahead and touching upon those things we talked about earlier to go ahead and to just guide them through the last step of the funnel. And to go ahead and make sure all of this kind of gets wrapped up really nicely with as little effort as possible on your end, which we love again, because there's so many other things that as small business owners you need to focus on. Doing something like going ahead and creating automated workflows. So setting up automated email sequences, scheduling content, scheduling follow-ups with leads, going ahead and trying to automate as much as the process as possible to go ahead and to make sure that as you flow them down the funnel, that again, it's kind of a hands-off process for you. You don't have to necessarily be on top of it all the time trying to go ahead and get them to the next step. It's already all integrated, from there, whether it's going ahead and going from your website, to your email, then from the email going ahead and having a sequence of emails that goes ahead and, welcomes them to the email list, then goes ahead and provides them with like, a discount code, for signing up to the email list to then go ahead and bring them to the checkout because they want to go ahead and gain access to the discount and then finally the checkout. So going ahead and having all of that set up so that way everything can just flow very nicely down so they can go ahead and make the sale super easily. Okay, so we're pretty much kind of towards the end. I know we're kind of wrapping up towards the last 30 minutes. So I do want to take a pause here for any questions. I know I covered over a lot going from all the different steps. So if anybody has any questions, you can go ahead and hop off if you want to go ahead and turn on your mics. Or you can go ahead and leave it into the chat too, which is also an option as well. So I'll give everyone a few minutes if anybody has any questions. And I can go ahead and go back through as well, in case if anybody wants to go ahead and see any of the points in the slides specifically. And just a summary of what we kind of went ahead and covered over. We talked about understanding your online ecosystem, the different parts of the system: building your sales funnel, setting up your website and your social media, email marketing and customer engagement, and then making sales and scaling. Like I said, with the paid advertising and public relations, I know we didn't necessarily get time to go and talk about that today, but again, in the interest of keeping everything consistent and tight, I definitely will go ahead and go over that during the 5-part series. Okay, awesome. I don't think Jen, do we have any questions at all?
I'm not seeing any questions.
Very awesome. So hopefully that means I went ahead and covered everything.
Hi,
Oh, Starla?
hi,
Starla?
how are you? You can call me Star. It's fine.
Star. Hi, Star.
So here's my thing. I have a makeup business, makeup and lashes, and I set up my social media. I used the GoDaddy website because it was like cost effective to
Mhm.
get a website and a business email and
Okay.
stuff. I'm using Booksy as a booking app, and it also, I think I haven't had any customers use it yet,
Mhm.
but it's able to take payments and stuff. And so my issue was I was trying to um get everything onto my Instagram page so that when people are going to my Instagram page, they
Mhm.
can click the links in order to, you know, book me, and
Yeah.
it could, take them to that. How do I do that again? I
Okay,
know,
so
I know,
I'll just go
I know
ahead. Go
you went over it.
ahead.
No, I was just saying, I know you went over it, but I kind of like missed that part a little bit.
Oh, you're fine. You're totally fine. So if I have this right, you have your website. Your website has a booking page on it through Booksly. Um,
No, so that's the other thing. So I've been trying to like update, fix my website.
mhm.
But I don't know, sometimes so I don't know if I think what they wanted was for me to purchase somebody to do it for like over $2,000, and I was like, no.
Yeah,
And
as it goes. I know having to go ahead and find, freelancers to go ahead and to do a lot of this, it can really add up and it can be very pricey. And some people tend to go ahead and tend to like overcharge and a lot of stuff, like there's so many parts of it to have to do that it's like to have to pay for each section of it, like it adds up. And it sounds like it's straightforward. So you have the website, you have the booking, but you're trying to link the two of them together and you're also trying to go ahead and put on your Instagram page.
yeah.
Okay. So you said you have GoDaddy for the domain. Are you doing a GoDaddy website too, or is it GoDaddy domain with a different website provider?
So I went to the GoDaddy, and they
Mhm.
said that they were um they said they had like some kind of a promo
Gotcha.
where I could get the for the first year I got it for like less than $25 for the year,
Mhm.
and then renewal I think is going to be like 199 after a year, you know.
Okay. And then the
Um,
GoDaddy, is it a combination? Like, so was the deal like you get like a domain name and you get a website all together in one?
Yeah, a domain name.
Yeah.
Yes, it had the website and also an email through
Yeah.
Microsoft 365 or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know that GoDaddy's been going ahead and pushing their websites more recently because they used to only really mostly be a domain provider, but they've gone ahead and gotten into the website space recently. So I feel like they've been pushing it for sure. Um, I know with GoDaddy, you should be able to go and have a way to go ahead and to get an app to go ahead and integrate something like Calendarly into your website. It probably will be a plugin to have to go ahead and do that to link the two of them together because you definitely want to try to have them all together in one. So you don't
Yes,
have to go ahead and go to different pages to go ahead and to find different things, like can be a little bit confusing for people. So
yes,
that would probably be the first thing is to go ahead and find a way to integrate them both together. Again, it
yes.
should either be a plugin or an app where you can go ahead and do that. Bookly, I'm familiar with them. I know that Squarespace has an integration with them. But I'm sure GoDaddy should have one too. But I know that they've been relatively new in this space. So I would look that up and just make sure that they can go ahead and integrate together. Um,
Okay.
and then having it onto your social media page, you can do it one of two ways. Usually for like Instagram, you can go ahead and you can have a link on your bio. Same thing with like Facebook too. And you can go ahead and have that link directly to your booking page if that's the main action that you want people to take. You can also go ahead and do something like use a link tree or a there's other providers that go ahead and do the service too. And you can look up competitors to Linktree, but you can go ahead and have a Linktree page where you have, your website, your booking page, any other pages that are relevant to your business and have that be one link. And then within that page, each button will link to your different pages, so your website and your booking page. Um, so you can go ahead and do it probably one of those two ways, would probably be the best bet. And then, of course,
Okay.
also too, you can also do for your Google business profile, you can go ahead and have a main call to action. So you can have a few different ones. You can have like, directions, you can have go to website, you can have like book, call for a booking. So you can also integrate that with your Google business page too. So you have, on your website, integrating those two together. Then you have linking it on your social media page, either just the link to your booking page, the link to your website once you get the booking page integrated, or having a link tree where you have those two links as buttons on the one link page. And then you also have Google Business where you can go ahead and link to both of those things as well. So that way you have, again, the ecosystem.
So now, and if I understand, so Linktree,
Mhm.
is that like a thing that I upload to the thing to the website, and then I put all my links in the Linktree? Is that how does that work again?
Yeah, here I could probably go ahead and show you really quick. Um,
Okay.
you can still see my
Yeah.
screen. Okay, cool.
Yep.
So this is Linktree. So it's linktr.ee
Oh, okay.
and
Dot
everything
E.
you are on one simple link bio. So basically, this
Oh,
is what the page looks like. So you can
okay.
customize it to whatever, kind of background, what kind of picture you want. Each one of these buttons corresponds to a different page that you have. So, can you have the
Oh,
first button can be a website. The second button can go ahead and be, your booking page. The third button can be, if you have like a blog post or something like that. But it's basically an all-in-one kind of hub for all of your links to different things.
oh. So
And
now, can I put the Linktree link on my Instagram?
yeah, yeah, you can do that. You can put on your Instagram in your bio, and that could just be your hub for all of your links.
I love it. Thank you.
Of course.
Okay, and then what? Oh, and then the Google profile. I know you said the Google business profile is
Yeah.
free. How do I access that again?
So you can literally
Just,
look up Google Business Profile,
okay,
and
and then
it'll usually be like one of the first things that comes up is get listed on Google. So you can click on
um,
that, and then it'll go ahead and take you through the steps of getting started. And this is like I'm sure you've all gone ahead and Google search different things before, and you'll usually see this go ahead and pop up if you go ahead and look up a business name so that you can have your call, direction,
mhm.
save, website. So this is basically making a page like that for your business and going ahead and going through that process so that way you can do it. And then you have to sign up for Google Business and everything like that. But again, it'll take you through the steps once you go ahead and you look it up, but just look up Google Business Profile.
Gotcha. Thank you so much.
Of course, no problem.
Oh, and one final thing. Will we have access to this recording
Yes, yeah, it
so
should
that
be
we can review
posted
it?
on our YouTube and our Facebook page. And I can always go ahead and send out for all who've attended today. I can go ahead and send out the link as well, as well as the slides as well.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Of course, no problem.
Thank you kindly.
Okay, awesome. Okay, any other questions? And like I said, they can be super personalized to specifically your business. If you have any questions, if you're hitting any roadblocks, like it's open field, open game. And while I do that, I'm gonna pull up the slides again. Okay, awesome. Well, if nobody has any other questions, then this is like my little plug for the 5-week class series. Again, this webinar is super top level, but if you guys want to go ahead and to really get hands-on real-time exercises where we're going ahead and literally sitting in class. You can take the time to actually go ahead and build out each one of these steps for your business, like making your Google business profile, going ahead and at least getting started on your website, going ahead and having kind of just a roadmap of where to go ahead and to go next. You guys can go ahead and come in person if you're local. We're nearby Brentwood, by Suffolk Community College, like I said, the Brentwood campus. I'll go ahead and provide personalized feedback on each step of the process as you work through it. You can go ahead and talk with other like-minded entrepreneurs like yourself, everyone on the call, so you can share insights and do collaborations. I'll also go ahead and be providing different resources like templates and checklists and tools for you to go ahead and take home with you to go ahead and leverage. So it's a fun time. If you're interested, you can go ahead and scan the QR code on the screen. Again, I'll be sending the slides after class. You can also go ahead and take a scan from it there. It starts this weekend. It's from 12:30 to 2:30. And like I said, it'll be on the Brentwood campus. And I have the address at the bottom of the screen there. And then in case, you're also going ahead and if you happen to be in the area and if you are around, we also have other classes too that you can go ahead and join. So this is another QR code for that. I know this weekend in the morning, we have Ms. Kenya going ahead and doing MWBE. So if you happen to be a minority and/or women-owned business and you're looking to get certified as a minority women-owned business, there's lots of good opportunities in terms of getting contracts and some really great funding. You can go ahead and you can scan the QR code there to go ahead and to join her class series as well. So we're going to conclude this a little early today. It was nice and concise and short. Thank you everybody for going ahead and joining. Like I said, we're going to send out the slides after class via email. It'll also be on our Facebook and YouTube. And if you have any other questions, when I email over the slides, you can always email me then. That's awesome. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Maria. Have a good one.
Good night.
Good night.
Very nice.